And let me make it public. Okay. Vernon, we are live. What are you doing?
Wipe it back the tears. Okay. I was doing what the man said. He said, wipe back the tears. Well, good evening, laVender.
Good evening,
How
Vernon.
you do?
And
How you
our
do?
first Wind Down Wednesday.
Wine down? Are you serious?
Yes.
I got my wine right here. Where your wine at? Where your wine
I couldn't
at?
open my bottle. What kind of wine is that you have?
Probably some Mad Dog 2020, but no, it says Stella Rose, something like that. I don't know.
You don't even drink, do you?
I don't even drink. I'll just pull somebody's wine out the refrigerator. They're gonna be mad as hell when they come in and mix the wine.
I don't think you're gonna drink that much.
Yeah. Are we live? Are we public? I don't see anybody.
I believe we are.
Yeah, I see private chats. How about live comments on the chat box over there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Show.
No. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Comments.
Hey, anybody? You out there? Maybe nobody's out there.
Oh, it says can't post comments to Facebook profiles. It's somebody out there. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. Anyway, welcome those of you who are watching to our Wine Down Wednesdays with the other woman, laVender Williams, and Vernon Watson, aka the Blues Hound. And we are here to talk about the other woman and relationships. So this is just a tester for those of you who are watching. Just a little tester, give you a taste of, not wine, but give you a taste of what we're going to be doing on YouTube on Wednesday nights or whatever night we deem necessary or feel like it at about this time. Vernon, why you pick 9 o'clock, 9:30? That's my bedtime.
Why not? It's probably your bedtime, but it's not everybody else's bedtime. Everybody, they come, number one, they give them time to come from church. And then
to come from where?
Church. You know the church.
Okay.
You know, your pastor got church on there. You didn't get your email today from pastor said you better be tuned in to church tonight.
No, I'm not a member of your church.
Were you ever
Burden? Burden. Yes, I was.
How
I don't get emails.
How do you get unmembered then? I don't understand. It is not.
I don't know.
This is not like a Catholic church where they can excommunicate you, right?
I don't know. Maybe they just took me off the email list. I never was. Anyway, we're not talking about that.
I know how good way of getting demembered. Don't pay your tithing. There's the rough.
Oh, well, there you go. So I'm no longer in Pensacola, Florida. I'm in Montgomery, Alabama now. So probably, anyway, it doesn't matter. Who is, Vernon, my mother is texting me. Why would my mother be the other woman, volume 1 issue a good topic? Bless her heart. Mama, get online. Let me tell her to go on Facebook.
Yeah, tell her to go on Facebook Live, okay? And see what she's on Facebook.
Okay, go on Facebook. Live. Okay, she'll be the only one watching. You can't depend on nobody. You can depend on mama to support you.
Yeah, you can depend on your mama. Okay,
so we're talking about everything from the rooter to the tutor when it comes to relationships, marriage, single life, what else? Trust, loyalty, sex, topics off limits in the bedroom. And It all started with the Other Woman magazine here, and Vernon Watson is a regular contributor to the Other Woman magazine, and he's such a fan of the magazine that he now invites the Other Woman to 30 minutes of his show on Saturdays. You can see it at the bottom. We are on Saturdays at noonish every Saturday. The Blues Hound show, where we talk about relationships for about 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is a taster of what we'll be doing, only doing it on Facebook Live tonight. Future Wednesdays will be on YouTube. Hey, Ronald. Ronald Garrett. Huh?
Yeah, Ronald
Garrett. He's just saying hello. Ronald has always been a good supporter of mine. When I had my first book signing for my first book, Ronald showed up. What were you going to say?
How come I can't see Ronald? He must be texting you.
Ronald's not texting me.
He's chatting with you?
Yeah, on StreamYard. So back to, So it's Wine Down Wednesday. And Vernon, you have your wine. What kind of wine did you say you had?
I think it's Mad Dog 2020, but
that is not wine. Mad Dog is not wine.
What is Stella? What is Stella Rose? Is that Mrs. Rose's stuff?
That's Stella Rose. That's a popular wine.
It's
I couldn't get my wine bottle open, so I have.
I'm drinking the platinum version of it, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Okay.
I know it's somebody. Hey, don't tell them, but it ain't even my wine. I looked in the refrigerator, and I didn't think no wine was in there, but looked in. Well, not the refrigerator. I guess the wine cellar refrigerator, where we keep a little. I guess where they keep the private stash at. And I went in there, sure enough, a whole bunch of wine in there.
Wow.
I don't drink, so good.
So will you be careful with that? You don't drink. Yes, we're winding down.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, man, y'all need to be careful with it because I might get drunk and start clowning. You don't even want to invite me back.
Well, it's already late past my bedtime. Well, almost past my bedtime. But wine relaxes. And I think the Wine Down Wednesday, especially if they go to church or watching it on TV, watching it on the internet now, for couples to come home and sit in front of the Wine Down Wednesday and talk and discuss relationships and marriage and get all lovey-dovey and fall in love all over again and then go to bed and
do what?
Make it happen. Ignite some fire. And I think is so important for marriages, the bedroom, for that to be the love nest for marriages. TVs. What about a TV? Do you have a television in your bedroom?
2.
Did you say?
Yeah, I got 2 TVs in my bedroom. Yeah.
So the bedroom should be to sleep and to sex. Sleep and sex. So why do you have two TVs?
Well, because she's watching what she want to watch. Them housewives and nobodies. Then I'm looking at the killing animal channel. So, hey, it works out.
How in the world? Okay, we're gonna leave that one alone. We're trying to set the mood for couples tonight, and you talking about you got 2 TVs in your bedroom.
That's when you're watching TV. Now, when the lights goes out, maybe that's a different thing. Hello, T. Washington. How you do?
Huh?
It's T. Washington. I told T how she does. Is a T or he or she? I'm not sure, but that's my friend.
Yeah, T. Washington. That's another classmate of mine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. T's okay. Ronald's a classmate, and
how come I don't see T. Washington?
Because she only likes me.
Okay, you guys, I told you it's a male.
Because
we are still testing out tonight.
No, you know why? You still have yours on private chat. You should put it on live.
No, I see it. It's on Facebook. Okay, so back to the bedroom. Yeah. Okay, so we wanted to set the mood for couples tonight, and I made the mistake of asking you if you had a TV in your bedroom. You said 2. Well, when I was married, there was no TV allowed in the bedroom. It was strictly for sex and sleep.
Okay. Let's stop there for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Just suppose just for a minute, had you had a television in there, do you think you'd still be married by now? See?
Oh no.
See, TV might help marriages. How do you know?
Well, it depends on what you're watching. So obviously, he was watching something else. He wasn't watching no TV.
Okay.
So no, it didn't work out. That didn't work out.
That
But
it
it's
works out for
so.
me. I've been married twice as long as you have been married.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we should promote the TV. But
Yeah.
then again,
We remember now, laVender, the purpose of our discussions in my book is to help people to prolong their relationships.
right.
And one of the premises that we always said that we're keeping it real. Okay, keeping it real.
Right. Keeping
Now,
it real.
if a television helps keep your marriage going or your relationship going,
So be it.
so be it. Okay. Don't
Choices.
just kick it out. Don't kick it out of the. Don't just kick it out of the bedroom now, because who knows? That might be the thing that keeps you ignoring each other. You know, I always say, now listen. I know you. I'm keeping it real now. You know, if one thing about this coronavirus situation that really brought things to light is that, you know, it's always easier to live apart than it is to live together. It's harder to do that. And so when now you're forced to be together, then you have to figure out ways of making that relationship works, okay? Because they're there all the time. They're going to get on your very last nerve. So that is the great test of a relationship, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
I guess what is that phrase? Distance makes the heart grow fonder.
Well, they said absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Absence.
Yeah, but what they got to do with this, though?
A lot. You're saying it's a tester.
Yeah, well,
You're
it's a
stuck in a
test.
house with someone
It's a
that
test.
you can't really get away from.
Yeah, but what
They're
that
in
have
your-
to do with it? You try to get rid of? No, what I'm saying is, it's a good test on how to get along in your relationship, because you're being tested now. You've been put into a situation where, well, really you wasn't put there before, right? Because you always had everybody went their separate ways, and then I always analogize things, but it's almost like your children. As long as the school is babysitting your children, and the babysitters is babysitting your children, and nursing care is babysitting your children, then your few hours at night you have them, okay, you can deal with them. But damn, when they locked up in the room on the weekend, you want to kick them outside. Or when they locked up now with you in the coronavirus, that is the time that you can really test to see whether or not how strong your relationship is with it, because you got to definitely get on somebody's nerve being together all the time, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That it's easier to live apart than live together. So our focus is let's try to get along. Let's live together. See how well we can get along with each other.
Yeah, and that's good it goes along with the wind down Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Put the children to bed, get you a glass of wine. Let's talk about relationships and what makes relationships stronger and how we can bond to one another a little bit stronger. But I think communication is the key, because if you have, during this coronavirus, if you have one who's a little irritable and just doesn't want to be bothered, and you got another one who's wondering, well, what's wrong with you? We stuck in the house together. Why can't we sit together and watch TV? Mm-hmm. But if you don't communicate these things with your partner, that just adds more tension. Right. Much more tension. Just like you said, you got two TVs in your bedroom. I don't know if I would get past that when you got two TVs in the bedroom. Well, that cuts down the argument, It cuts down the argument. You watch what you want to watch, and
I watch what
I want to watch. Yeah.
And then when we get tired of watching, then it's time to make love. It's on.
Time to watch each other, huh?
But you went one television in the room, and she want to watch The Housewives of Georgia or something like that, and I want to watch the animal kill each other, and then that's gonna create some tension. And by the time the TV goes off, I got my back turned. I don't want to, because I can't watch my animal killing animals. Okay, and she can't watch those women gossip.
So
And
did
so
you all come to that agreement? You guys came to that agreement that you would just have 2 TVs in the room? How did you come to get 2 televisions?
I just went out because I got tired of looking at that crap she was looking at, and I just bought my own. I bought my own. I done this years ago. I bought my own television, put it on my side of the bed. And back then I had, we didn't have Bluetooth. Right now it's just a lot easier because you got Bluetooth, but they didn't have Bluetooth back then. I just had my earphones, and I put my earphones in, and she put her earphones in, and we have our back turned to each other. She's on her side of the room looking at what she wants to look at, and I'm on my side of the room looking at what I'm looking at. And everything worked out well.
And it works for you.
It worked for me. It worked for me.
It works for you. And I guess that's the premise also for us talking about relationships. What may seem completely crazy to one person, one couple, makes complete sense to another couple. And that can go, huh?
I don't understand how that seems so crazy, but I understand
that is the craziest thing that I have heard.
I know. I hear you, and that's just it goes to show you what we're talking about. I've been doing this for years, and I got a female boss. I had a female boss when I was working, and I told her that it's been probably more than 20 years ago, and I told her that she acted the same way you acted. She said, "What you did? What? I can't believe it." But to me, that's a normal thing to do. And I bet you, as any man, oh, that's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? I probably have thought of that. But it goes back to show you how different the mindsets are between a man and a woman. And
men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
So we're gonna have to get into each other's mindset in order to make it work. Now, it's rather than casting me as being crazy, just understand that just who I am, and that's what I want to do, and let's move on. But for some people, I think sometimes when the judgmental factor comes in there, he must be crazy, kind of a thing. I don't want to do, even if your mate thought that, even though you're not, you're just coming from a different perspective in life, and that's what we have to try to get to understand. Hey, Miss Rosa. Hey, Mama Rosa. She's checking in.
What did she say?
She said, "I'm on a honeymoon.
You never
had a you never had a honeymoon." Cray. But anyway, but what was I saying? See, when you get old, your memory doesn't play to go. But no. My point is, LaVender, my point is, we all come from different perspectives, and we all have our own concept and mindset. And you may not agree with my concept or my mindset,
right?
But you don't have to agree with it,
right?
The thing, what I write in my book is, just like the Mars and the Venus thing, you don't have to understand it. Just be able to accept it. Okay, be able to accept it. That's what's good for me. You might not like it, but I love it. And so you got to come to this point in your life that you're going to have to learn to accept. You don't have to learn to love it, but you have to learn to accept it, be able to live with it.
Right.
And that's what when I talk about my 20-80 rule in my book, that's what I talk about. That 20% that you don't like about people, then it's critical, because if you don't like that 20%, the 80% that you do like is never going to work. So you're going to have to come to the conclusion in your life that, well, either I can accept it, even as crazy as hell as he is, I have to accept that 20% or not. If I don't, you just need to walk on with it. But if you do accept it, then just say that's who he is. What Maya Angelou said, when a person show you who they are,
believe it.
And kind of deal with it. Now, what's wrong with that? And I think what happens in relationships is just that very factor, that people try to change people for who they are from their perspective. Okay, you got to change to the way I like things. That's not generally, it doesn't happen that way.
So you're saying it has to be a compromise?
Absolutely a compromise.
You might just like you're saying with the 2 TVs in the bedroom, you all had to come to an agreement for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know what I guess when you're saying that, it was obviously it stayed it's still in the bedroom as I speak. So it wasn't necessarily an agreement. I guess it's a common agreement. she didn't fight it because she got her way and I got my way. It was a compromise that she was able to look at what she wants to look at, and I was able to look at what I want to look at, and then we were still able to do what we need to do after the TVs are off, and then because everybody's in a good mood, she's happy with her. Other than, I guess what I'm saying is it could have been a fight. I could have went in there and said, I'm tired of looking at what's this man name that these other ones, the man that always this is you not the baby daddy. What's those folks name? You know who I'm talking about. These
No, I don't.
Oh, you know the man that you're not the daddy, you the daddy, and this time and these.
Maury.
Maury Povich and all that other kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
That's the man. That's the man that got your woman. So you better be careful about that. But anyway, he has her attention, and when you try to take that man away from her, because you come into bed and that's what she want to look at, it's not going to be pretty because that's what she wants to do. And I want to look at animal killing people, animal killing animals. I mean, whatever I call it, animal.
But that's romantic. That's very romantic to watch animals kill each other and then have an intimate moment. But back to your 80-20 rule.
Okay.
I like that because say a woman marries a rich man. Mm-hmm. Okay, she likes it. She likes his money. She likes him.
Right.
But he has some horrible habits. He's just don't pick up behind himself. Everything he picks up, he leaves it right there. So she's constantly having to go behind him, clean up. He's just a messy man. Right. So that 20% that she doesn't like, she's going to have to weigh it. The 80%, you're going to stay with the money, or you're going to leave him because he's messy, or you're going to accept that 20% that you don't like from him.
And that's that's a good point, laVender, because that's what, and this is for real what people do every day in our lives. That's what we do. You have to weigh it. Is it worth it to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Is living comfortable, driving your own car? A lady just told me just recently. She said, "Look, Blues Hound. I'm telling you, my old man paid for my car. My old man paid for my house. He paid for everything, and I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm fine with that. So I'm not gonna mess that up for anything. Okay, and if I have to clean up behind him, if I have to rub his back, whatever I need to do, because that is worth it to me. That 20% worth it to me. But I guess I get to the point of when it's not worth. People sometimes, laVender, I think has, they let the pride get in the way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, just like I wouldn't want a man do this for me. Now, that's okay. That's what you want. That's fine. But I think sometimes when you let your pride get in your way, it will cause you to cut your nose off to spite your face. And just take that example that you use. A woman living very comfortable in her life, okay? And then because her man is messy and he can pick up behind himself. He can do this kind of stuff. Why would you cut your nose off to spite your face? You don't want to clean up behind him. Then you're going to mess up this good thing that you got. Why would you want to do that? I don't understand it. But again, I do
because
understand.
People want things their way. They want things their way. Like you said, that's the ego, that's pride. But when you really love someone, you've got to weigh.
You just made an important point.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what you said? When you love someone, then those things doesn't matter.
Right.
And if it does matter to you to do that for them, you obviously don't love them. You have to go back and check yourself in the mirror to see do you actually love them. If you love them, you do. Love, I believe, conquers all. Okay, you wouldn't mind if you love a person, pride, when you wouldn't let pride control who you are. Okay, and so picking up clothes behind him, do whatever you need to do for that person. You're only doing it out of love. You're doing it because you love them, and that's a good test. If you have to question, or if you don't want to do it, then you really need to question whether or not you love your partner or not. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? That just brings me back to something that my father has always told me, that women, we get the short end of the
And I miss
stick.
you too, Deborah Reese.
Hey, Deborah,
But
we
go
get the
ahead.
short end of the stick
Uh-huh.
in marriage. You know, it
How
seems
what
like because we are the ones who do the majority of the work in the household. You know, the
right,
cooking, the
right.
cleaning. We got to be a sex goddess at night. We got to take care of the children, help the homework. We got to do all of that. So your 80/20, you know, it's kind of shaky for a woman because we are giving up so much of ourselves. So we really got to love this man
Right.
to put up
But you,
with whatever he's dishing out, because
yeah.
we're like trying to be
What
everything that.
yeah, whatever he dished out within reason now. You stay within reason. But let me go back to stuff I wrote in my book about what you signed up for. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now you gotta understand before you get into any relationship, you gotta understand what you're signing up for.
Right.
If you sign up knowing that those, it's just like getting a job, laVender. You got a job description, and your job is
uh,
going to say you're going to have to take out the pea pot, okay? And you're going to say, "Oh God,
that
I don't
is
want to
not
do that."
said.
But now listen, hold on for a minute. Don't.
Okay, go ahead.
But what I'm saying is, all a part of that, whether it's written or not, is there a certain expectation? We talked about that one time on another show. What the expectations in a relationship? You know that before you're going in, okay?
Right.
And knowing it before you go in, so you can make your decisions now before you get into it. So when you get into it, that's what you sign up to do. Not necessarily that you have to continue doing it. Maybe you can make influence people to change stuff along the way. But remember, don't. That's what you sign up for. Okay. And
I don't, you
you
know
know he
what?
was lazy. When you
No.
were coaching
See,
him.
see,
So
that's the thing, Vernon. You don't know. You know what you're signing up for, but
mhm.
you don't really know a person until you say, I do. People
Well,
change.
true. I agree.
He's no longer the boyfriend or the boo. He's your husband.
Right.
And he becomes the provider, the protector. He's got another role to fill.
Mm-hmm.
He just can't, y'all not dating anymore. We got work to do. And a marriage is one of them. We got work to do. You know, it's not just a comfy place anymore. Roles change.
Right.
Even the woman, her
Okay.
role changes from the girlfriend, from the boo, the bae, whatever, to a wife. And she's
Right.
got all these roles to fill now, all these hats to wear. So you don't know. You
Well,
know what you're getting into,
well,
but you really don't. Because I
well,
think if most women knew, it wouldn't be that many
Well,
marriages.
but that duh is the purpose of our discussion. The purpose of my book of love. The purpose of the other woman. You know now that we want folks to go into a relationship with the eyes open, knowing those kinds
Right,
of things. Now,
right,
if you knew that when you're going in, would you go? You make the same decision. And so, if you knew that now before you got into it, then you can make a lot more informed decisions about whether or
right,
not you're willing to
right.
do that or willing to put up with that or not. But I think most folks go into relationships and marriages with blinders on, okay? And they blind, and like I said just a while ago, if you truly love them, you do it and it doesn't matter. And many people do that. But if you if you don't do that, if you're not willing to do that, maybe you really don't love them to that point. And like I say, everything in life, and like I say, in the marriage, you should share this 50-50 relationship. What we're saying, but it's not always that way. laVender. Like I said in my book, 80-20. Always expect the 80-20. If you can't deal with the 80-20, then you might want to make some decisions before you get in there. And nobody says, and another thing I talk about life, everybody thinks life is fair. Life is
Mm,
not fair. Okay, you got to
at all.
get that in your head. We're not talking about fairness. You're talking about how to manage your life to a point. but it is not fair. What's good for the goose is not always good for the gander, and so forth. So don't expect fairness in your life. There's always going to be a lot of unfair stuff in your life. You just have to know how to manage it, how to handle it when it comes your way.
Okay. I'm gonna accept that. We're gonna save save my response for a future show.
Well,
Because you know what? It seems like I don't know why it is. I'm gonna say this and we're gonna get ready to close. I don't know why it is, but it seems to be more women are dissatisfied in the marriage, and probably because they do get the short end of the stick.
right.
The man is happy. I'm good. She's like, oh, you know what? Can we talk? What you want to talk about? Everything is good. Everything is fine. Everything is not usually fine for the woman. But then again, it goes back to that women are from Venus, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're just thinking two different things and probably have two different ideas of how we want our marriage to be before we get married.
But that's exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And if you come to that juncture in your marriage or in your relationship, then it's time to talk. There's always room for talk. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised. Or I know you wouldn't be surprised, but when you sit down and talk about things, okay, you can come to some realizations that, okay, and you get not only talk about things, but you also have to keep an open mind. When you go into any kind of dialogue with a closed mind, and then you're not going to accomplish very much in your talking. But I do think that women, if they're one of the things that y'all suffer is, and I think somebody wrote this about, sometimes y'all suffer through silence.
Yeah.
You don't say things. Sometimes you don't say anything. And I always say, and I always use this analogy all the time. Okay. If you lay down in front of your door, at that door, and I come in and I rub my foot on you, and you didn't say anything, next time I come on and rub my foot on you again, because I'm thinking you're a floor mat. Okay. And so as long as you don't say anything about it, obviously you must be good with it. And so sometimes I think that goes on into relationship when people are not good with things, they don't say anything. Okay.
And I think a woman would be thinking, you should know.
Right.
You should know that I'm not a doormat. You should know that.
Point taken. That's what we don't want folks to, particularly women or men, go into a relationship thinking you can't think for another person. Okay. You can't think. You don't know what's going on in their mind. Maybe they should know that, but maybe it's a matter of comfort for them. Okay. It's easy for me to wipe my feet on you because you're okay with it. You never said anything about me wiping my feet on you. So you're all right with it. So I think the contention is you got to communicate. That's the whole purpose of any relationship, is that it lacks communications. And when you open up the dialogue of communication, and then let me tell you another thing about communications.
laVender.
One of the things about communication, as long as you let things fester, it's harder to do a two-way communication. Okay, it really is, because sometimes people mindsets have already set in, and you're not going to, when you say something, the very thing that I don't like, I'm focusing on what you just said that I didn't like, and I forget about everything else you said after that. And sometimes it doesn't work. And so when you get into heated stuff, that's why I think a three-way communication is better. In other words, what I'm saying is, if you have a third party, like a counselor or a mediator or somebody like that, that can allow you to participate in these dialogues. That's why people go to marriage counselors, because they're more in a controlled environment that you are able to sit there and listen to one another. Or you can do it yourself if you want to. You just set your ground rules. You just sit down and talk one another. But one of the ground rules that you have to set when you're talking to one another is just say, look, listen, I want to say my piece uninterrupted. Okay. I know you want to jump in, but here's a piece of paper. Just write down the things that you might want to ask me, or respond to the things you want to ask me. And then I'll do the same thing. Don't interrupt me. Just hear me out. Just hear me out completely on both
Right.
sides. And then that tends to sometimes help the situation rather than people coming in and because you say one thing, I want to come back at you on this and that. But you hadn't heard the whole thing yet. They might have said something that's important, but because you focused on that one thing that you didn't like, you missed everything else. So hear them out completely. And then
You know what? Alma says communication is good, but when a man's heart changes, you are speaking Greek and to a brick wall.
okay, what does she mean? What do that really means, laVender
Well, you know what
and
you were
and
talking. We
Alma?
were talking about communication.
Uh-huh.
How we were talking about how important communication is.
Right.
I guess you're saying, but when a man's heart it could be when a woman's heart changes, because you were saying that they being a doormat. If you
Hmm.
don't say that I don't like you wiping your feet on me, you're going
Right.
to continue
Right.
wiping your feet on that doormat on
Right.
me, and you're going to think that I like it. And that might be one of the reasons before I decided to leave my marriage, I never questioned what he did that I didn't think was right. I never questioned anything. I never looked in his wallet. I never checked his phone calls. I never asked him where he was. He come home. I never asked anything because in my mind, it's not right. You know what I'm saying? So to even open up communication for that,
But don't you think that you were acquiescing to that behavior?
you're a
I
grown
one of
person.
huh?
Aren't we grown? This goes back to expectations. We talked about this in a previous show, expectations in a marriage. If you're going to carry on the role of a husband or a wife and be
Uh-huh.
married, you're making vows to one another.
Hmm.
Certain things are just not,
Well,
shouldn't have to be.
but again, laVender, common sense would tell one that you're not a floor
I'm not a
mat,
doormat.
right? You're not a doormat. But some folks are very comfortable with that. As long as they allow that to happen and they're comfortable with it, as long as you're not saying anything, maybe you love them enough to be a doormat. We don't know that. You just don't know that until
Wow.
somebody says something. You can't get
Wow.
into, like I say, going back to Mars and Venus analogy again. Men are from Venus and women are from Mars. We speak two different languages. I think sometimes the mistake that we make is that we try to get into we try to assume that the other people think as we think. Okay.
Yeah.
Only you thinks the way you think. I think the way I think. So that's why you have to say something. You have to open your mouth and say, why are you wiping your feet on me? Don't you know I didn't like that? Or for an example, he might come in drunk one night
Right.
of the week. And you
Or
didn't
late for
but you never
dinner.
said or late for dinner or whatever the case may be. And you didn't like that, but you put up with it and you never said anything about it. And so maybe in his mind that she doesn't mind it. Maybe she's just acquiescing to that. Maybe she doesn't mind me coming in drunk every Saturday night. Okay.
Okay.
Or whatever, that's a probably a bad example, but you know what I'm saying. Whatever,
Okay.
and this could be a lot less of the things that you have that you don't like, things that tick you off, laVender. I know some things in relationship that tick people off that sometimes you have no idea that it would tick you off. Right now, you ain't drinking that. That look like wine to me. It ain't no moonshine in it. Ain't no moonshine in that. In that.
Okay, you know what? This is perfect. I'm so happy you said that. This is one of my favorite mugs, and it says, I
What
might
is it?
look like I'm listening to you, but in my head, I'm writing out,
I,
riding my
I know.
horse.
I know.
So all that stuff you said, all
La
that
la
stuff
ba
you
ba.
said, but you know what? Alma
Mm-hmm.
comes back and she says she's divorced,
Mm-hmm.
and her husband's heart changed toward the family. So I guess you know what? When someone's heart changed, if the love is not there, the love is not there. You know?
Is that what you mean? Right, exactly. Go
Yeah. So
back to
you are
what.
talking to a brick wall. People change their minds. It's nothing you can do about that.
Well, you got to know again. Go back to what I wrote about this chapter in my book about. You got to know when to hold and when to fold. Okay.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that point where you know that you can just cut loose and just let go, that hard changes, and not a lot you are able to do about that. Okay.
Right.
You not that's the one thing about it. You can't make anybody love you. Either they do or they don't. If you get to the point that they don't love you, and then you can just move on.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you feel, your love might be still there, but it's not going to be mutual. So
Right.
the thing about relationship is that we want the feelings to be somewhat neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess your book, The Book of Love, the working title,
Hmm.
uh, not only will you be allowing women to look, you're inviting us into the mind of a man and how
Right.
men think,
Right.
but why why is that important to you? Because even in the Other Woman magazine, all of your articles are to help women. You
Right.
really do tell us how men think on so many different issues and topics of marriage. So why is that important to you?
Because I see so many women, laVender, um, in a relationship or not in a relationship. They are always. I sit there and listen to women, okay, and I just shake my head. I sit there and listen to you. I sit there and listen to a lot of women in my life, and what they thinking that a man think is so far from reality that
Mm,
I'm saying to myself, what do you think? You just don't know. You need to understand what he's thinking, what's in his mind, how he thinks, not the way you think. You think in the way you want to think, and you want to try to bring him around to your way of thinking. You might be able to do that. You might have an 80-20 chance of doing that, but chances are you got an 80% chance not bringing them around your way, okay? So, in other words, then if you need to understand from his perspective, then I think you can make more informed decisions about a relationship if you understood his mindset, of his frame of reference, if you will. But I see so many of them, laVender. I really shake my head and thinking that's what you really think he thinks. No, that's nothing about what he thinks. Okay, and so you can't make an informed decision based on what you think he thinks on your
hmm.
decision, not actually what he thinks. And the only way you gotta know what people think is you gotta have to ask them, talk to them. Okay, listen to them, watching them. One thing they always say about actions speak louder than words. You watch them. Okay, their actions. When a person tells you that they love you, okay, but their actions is counter to that. Okay, they never show you in any way that they love you.
Yes. Yeah.
Then that's something wrong with that picture of
Yeah.
laVender. I'm telling you
Yeah.
now. And
But
they'll
that,
rationalize it. They'll rationalize it, baby. That's just me. I just ain't. No, that's
yeah.
not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Because you really love
Yeah.
somebody, you would show them in some means or ways that you love them. And but they'll say, I'm not that kind of person. I can't show my expressions. I can't go. That's
Yeah.
bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
don't believe that. So if they love you, they can show it in many ways. In many ways, it ain't got to be, baby. And you better watch those that are always telling you, baby, I love you, I love you, I love you. That just
But you don't
saying it,
ever see anything.
I've never seen a thing. Talk is
Yeah.
cheap. Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. So watch
Th-
the actions.
yeah. That's a good note to
We got
end
all
on.
night. I got all night. Look at it. Look, I got 2 bottles to finish. Where you rushing off to?
All I got is some hot water. It's not even hot anymore. Okay, hey, we can keep talking. You said
I ain't got nothing to do but go to bed
burden. Okay,
and make
gosh.
love. And that only
with
gonna
your
take 3 minutes.
with your two TVs, with your two
But
TVs in your
yeah,
bedroom.
after I look at my TVs for a couple of hours and then make love for 3 minutes, then I'm gone.
Okay, let's go back to the gosh, you make me lose my train of thought. Um Actions speak louder than words. And this is good for those who are dating also.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
You know, before you say I do, you really need to understand what you're saying. Not
Right.
just that the other person, your groom, your bride, but you. What are you saying I do to? Because if you don't know standing at that altar, if that man 100% loves you and he has shown you that he loves you,
Mm-hmm.
you're married just for the sake of getting married. You know, and some women don't, they say, well, I put so much time into planning the wedding and we put so much time into the relationship and we've known each other. But if you don't feel love, it's not going to get any better when you say I do.
But you
So
know,
go ahead.
Lavender, I think though, when it get to that point, okay, you either in love or you're gonna psych yourself out to be in love. Okay, when you get to the point of a wedding, with the 80-20, we're standing the 80-20 rule down.
Right.
80% of the folks, when they get to that wedding part,
Uh-huh.
they're convinced themselves in one way or the other that they love each other. And they do. And 9 times out of 10, well, let's say 8 times out of 10, that is true. I know 2 times out of 10, people got to the altar that really knew that they didn't love each other. At least one or the other knew that they didn't love each other, but they went through it for whatever their reasoning are. And I know people that got to the wedding, canceled it right then and there because I guess they realized what they realized it. But if you go through it, and let's say out of 100% of the people that go through weddings, I think 80% of them at least truly feel that they love each other and do probably love each other. But then there's a 20% of them, one or the other don't love, not truly love each other. You know, that feeling is not just mutual out of that 20%. And so when you get to that point, you really done psych yourself out. Okay. And now for that 20%, I'm looking at that 20%, and we talking about, we got to deal with that other 80% because once you get married, that 80% that truly feel like they're in love, then after marriage, that love is tested in so many ways, that challenge in so many ways that change, like you said, changes things. Just like what Alma was talking about, it changes things as time goes on. But that 20% that you went into, like for an example, laVender. I know that's your name, laVender. laVender. I know you dated a lot of boys when you was in high school, right?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't even date in high school.
Okay.
I
Well,
wasn't
anyway,
allowed
I'm talking about those girls that know how to that know how to date guys, okay? And some guys you date, you truly know you ain't nothing there, but you date them anyway, okay? Maybe because there ain't nobody else come along any better, whatever the case may be. You went along with the program, knowing that the feeling not mutual. You got one side that's really
right.
gung ho, and the other side is not as gung ho. You know what I'm saying? But you go along with it anyway.
Yeah.
Marriages is the same kind of way, and people go into marriages for different reasons. Okay,
Right.
always, what I always use the marriages analogous to the church. You know, people go to church, laVender. They don't go to church to get into heaven. I don't care what they tell you; they'll try to tell you that. Okay, that the reason they go to church is for salvation and Jesus and all that.
Fellowship.
Fellowship. You know why they go to church? Because and not only the church, but for any group that you join, you go into it with a selfish reasons. Okay, some people go to church every Sunday because they can sing, but they ain't good enough to go on to have a record deal. But the only time they're going to get a chance to sing is going to be in the choir. Some people, listen. Some people go to church because that's the only day of the week they can just dress up, okay, to go to church. Some people go to church for, you know what I'm saying? We got our varying reasoning why we go to church. Some folks just go to church so they can stand up on the usher board so they can be seen.
Why do you go to church?
Because I go to church because I'm being honest with you about it. The reason I go to church is because I was raised that way. I was raised in the church, and I feel guilty not going to church. Okay, because my mama told me I need to go to my black hat to church, and we went to church every Sunday. But when you get grown, but I enjoyed church. I sit there and listen to church, and only an hour a day for me. When we was going, and so I enjoy it, but it ain't because, like I say, and I like the pastor. Let me tell you that. Okay, that's maybe that's my reason for going, because I like my pastor. The pastor before him, hope he ain't listening.
Don't say it.
Okay, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I didn't get the same feeling. I like the word that this pastor gave me than my previous pastor. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't go as much with my previous pastor, but with this pastor, it's something. He
was able to reach you.
Yeah, he was able to reach me. He was able to reach me. And so therefore, that's the reason.
Now that's a good pastor. If anybody can reach you, that's a good pastor.
That's a good pastor.
Blues Hound. Okay.
So, but they're not. And you know what people claim to go to church for. I don't think that is the case. I really don't.
How did we get on that subject?
Well, I was talking about people getting together and the reason why they join groups and the reason why they are part of something. And when the relationships, it's the same kind of way. When you hook up with somebody, you got a selfish reason why you're hooking up with them. Okay, it ain't sometimes
for self.
It ain't always. It ain't always love. It's what I'm saying. It ain't always love.
You like the way that person makes you feel. You like the way that person just rubs you the right way. That chemistry is there. Yeah, yeah. It's always a selfish reason.
Exactly. It's okay. It's okay. I tell folks all the time, but sometimes people always think, I see Mama. You leave us alone. We all got our reason. Right. We all got your reason. So that's okay. And that's okay. And I tell folks all the time, like, I'm involved with the dance class, right? And our poor dance instructor thinks that everybody comes there for the love of the dance.
Right.
Okay? That ain't true. That's what I try to get her to understand, that everybody don't come here because they love to dance. They come there for various reasons. Some of them, why did they leave? Well, they found a boyfriend, a girlfriend. Now they found they ain't back anymore. Or they found, like my time. I don't love to dance as much, but it was a challenge to me to learn to dance. And once I learned to dance, okay, I'm good with it. But people come to any organization, any group, or any relationship for a selfish reason. But now let me tell you about that. It's okay. As long as that reason benefiting your organization, that's good. Okay. But when a selfish reason, like you're gonna only want to sing in the choir, and you're gonna try to take over the choir, you just want to sing solo. I hope it be solo that we can't hear you.
I like what you said, to benefit. As long as the organization benefits. It's just like joining the military. Everybody does not join the military to serve their country.
Right. Hey, good example. Excellent example.
Yeah.
Excellent example. I didn't join the military to serve my country. Number one, I got drafted. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't have a desire to go fight for my country. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. The way my country I felt treated me, why should I go fight for them? But I had no choice. But then when I joined the military, I fell in love with the military.
Right.
So, but that's a good example of what you're talking about. We all join organizations and groups and people for various reasons, and it ain't always a bad reason. But there are 20% of them is for bad reasons now.
So the same with relationships. We're coupled with someone because of something that person does that we like.
Right.
They make us feel valued, or they make us feel loved, or whatever it is, whatever that need is that we have, that one person fulfills that need. And that goes to one of our private conversations that we had, Vernon, about why men go outside of the marriage.
Okay.
If that woman is not providing all of those needs of that man, he will go somewhere else. He will go outside the marriage to look for it.
Right.
So a woman needs to be a man's queen, his girlfriend, his confidant, his what's another one?
Future
Everything.
woman.
His best
Everything
friend.
into one. Yeah. Everything into one.
Everything. So she has to fulfill all those hats, all those roles for that man because of that insatiable desire that men have for whatever it is that they want that women don't understand.
laVender, and I guess different stroke for different folks, but and that's why some women advocate the what they call role playing. Okay, role playing in relationship. If you want a hoochie woman, I'll dress up like a hoochie woman once a week to satisfy your needs. If you want this and that, whatever you can agree to is whatever you can agree to.
But he don't want you to be the hoochie woman. He wanted a real hoochie woman.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that until you try that, right? You don't know that. But you got to go back to the core of why he's doing that, though.
Right.
Go back to understand why a man or a woman. I have to be equal here. Why a man or a woman would step outside of it. There's something obviously missing in that relationship. That 20% is missing. Most of them are just fine with the relationship, but they're just trying to fulfill whatever is missing. They wouldn't. Most men that have a side relationship have it not because they want to leave home. Okay, that's what women think. That's the thing I try to get women to understand. It's never about
them.
Right.
Never about us.
It's always about the man. It's always for a selfish reason.
Right.
You don't ever think that, but he'll make you think that now just to justify it in his mind to make you think that it was you the reason that he went out there. That ain't true.
Yeah.
That ain't true. He went out there because of his own selfish reasons.
Right.
Okay. And it's never about how you look or how much he loves you or anything like that. None of that is never about that because it has nothing. As crazy as this sounds to you, to women, it's crazy. It's two separate things. In men's mind, there's two separate things. They got this here and then they got that there. Okay. And those two never converges in his mind. When he leaves, when he steps out there, it's not because you didn't dress up this morning, or it's not because you, hey, Joan. It's not because it's something that you did. Okay. It's something because what he doing or what he wants to do. It's all about that. And so some women just beat themselves up because they don't feel like they're living up to his expectation. Right. But you got to go back but how do you cure that? I don't know, but you got to go back into the mind of the man.
Even pornography. Even pornography. It has nothing to do with the woman. Exactly. That's his issue. Yeah.
Can I tell you
anything?
laVender, one of the things I do write about the relationship, people go what they do about for pornographies and stuff like that. It's just something about men. How the problem is men and women are socialized so differently when they grow up. Okay. And that's go back to the Venus and the Mars thing. Men are social boys. This is what boys socialize to put as many notches in their belt as they can. That's what it's not something that you formally is taught, but that's just expected.
You're born that way. You guys are born that way.
Yeah,
that's the nature of a man.
The nature of a man to go out there and put as many notches in his belt as he can. I want you to think about this. Don't you think about this for a minute. And I'm talking about among other men. Okay, the man that got the most women, okay, are envied by other men. Okay, envied by other men. You think about what I call the pimp mentality. I know you. I don't know where you read this book about Iceberg Slim, but all men have what we call what I call.
Yeah.
I write about that in my book about the pimp mentality, and
have
so they look. So we all want to be pimps in our own mind, but the man that has the most women is the man that most guys gravitate to, and they actually look up to him, but only because we were socialized. You know, when your mom and your daddy would let your brothers out the house and go do what they want to do, but he keep the girls in. He wouldn't let y'all date and do all that other kinds of stuff.
But
And
that pimp mentality, they're not sleeping with. The pimp doesn't sleep with these women.
I know, but that's a good point. I want you to hold that point, because so it's a bigger picture about the pimp mentality. It's not about pimp. It's not about the women. That's the pimp part is about power and who control. And you know what? This is a good segue. We if you get your other book, we talk about the power of the vagina. Okay, you remember that article, the value of the vagina. Okay, I talk about that. I wrote an article on the value of vagina. It's not about the vagina. It's about who controls the vagina. And you ask yourself, what do you mean? Who controls? Okay, who controls your vagina? Okay, well, you'll be surprised who controls it, and it's a lot of money to be made, not by you, not by the person that owns it, but by other people like pimps and folks that can get control of it. And then you ask yourself, well, how can they control it? That's a whole another chapter in my book. How people come to determine how they can get control of your mind. Okay, if they can get control of your mind, they can control your body. Okay, so that's the thing that you're gonna have to be careful about. There's just so much stuff, laVender. Would you just show? Is the article out already?
Yes, Monday it will start shipping. Yes. Finally, so this is the issue, the value of the vagina is in, the one that I've been waiting for. Yes.
Okay.
But you're right, Vernon. It's just so much that it's just appreciated that a man will just tell the truth, because a woman can go through her entire life thinking she knows her man. But like you said earlier, we think how we want them to think.
Right. You think
not how, and I think we don't really want to accept the nature of a man and how he thinks. But if we can get past the reality of it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not take it personally,
right.
And not say, well, why would he treat me like that? That's just the nature of a man. So you're either going to deal with it or you're going to be alone.
Right. Exactly. Or you can, like I say, in situations, sometimes you can manage to change situation, but keep in mind, you can't change anybody. What I always say but you can't influence people. If you can influence enough, they can change. They'll change themselves to do that. Okay. And so if women were to understand exactly how a man thinks and how a man, it is not always our fault, because a lot of it's based on societal norms and how we were raised as from boys to men and everything. You always wondered why men always have sex on the mind. That's because that's the way that we were socialized, if you will. Okay.
I don't know
Women,
if I agree with that.
But because you're thinking from a woman's point of view.
I'm thinking as a mother, and you said raised or
socialized. I said socialized.
Animals are raised.
Socialized
or nurtured or reared. I know good and well that I did not.
But you're missing the point. You're missing the point. This is nothing that has been formally taught to you by your parents or anybody. Okay, this is what we call, I guess you call, street knowledge. Okay. It's just like you would think that a mother in California would say the same thing as your mother would say in Montgomery, Alabama. Girl, I'll slap you into next week. You would think they all went to school on saying the same kind of thing, but these are norms and mores that have been passed on for forever. And
locker room talk. Locker room
And locker room
talk.
talk, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
See, this is learned in the street. You tell me what you want. Yeah, I know you didn't raise your boys the same way, but if your boys were true to you, were truthful enough to you, they'll tell you they learn all of this other stuff that I'm talking about from other boys and other men from in the streets. So that's what I mean about socialized. You know, you being socialized that way, because guys are always socialized to get as many women as they can. Okay, women are socialized to the point of I just want one man. Mama, you know,
I just want to love
one man.
I want to be faithful.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna live happily ever after.
Camelot and all that shit. Yeah. Well, like
knight in shining armor.
Yeah. And sometimes you can find that, but sometimes you don't. But all I'm saying is we got to be real about it, though.
Right.
Don't think, and like you was talking about your boy, when I said that, you said, I don't believe it because I didn't raise my boy to be that. You don't have to raise your boy to be that. Okay? Society's going to raise him. Okay?
Right. And I do believe that's part of the, like we said, the nature of a man. You know what I'm saying? Because men always tell me that I was raised, that my father raised me to be a man because of the way I think, the way I act. I've heard that over and over. But women, little girls, are given dolls. We're natural nurturers. The easy bake oven. We want to play house and take care of the children, our little dolls, you know, all of that stuff. Boys are given cars, you know, trucks. They get dirty. They go outside. Little girls don't do that. You don't get dirty. You know, we're playing hopscotch or whatever. So a lot of it is how we are nurtured. But like you said, that's years and years and years. But I do believe that some of that stuff is just in the womb. That's just the nature of women and the nature of men. That's just the way we are. That's just the way we are.
I want to go back to your example. You gave a super great example about when folks show you how your daddy raised you. Okay. What you learn from your daddy, mainly, he probably taught you some things, but I bet you he probably taught you 20% of what you know about things from him. But I bet you 80% of that was observing him in his natural state. Okay. And that's my point to you about men. We don't have to be taught anything. We can observe. You can see your boys don't think they've been asleep all their lives. They saw what their daddy did. They see what their buddies doing. They see what other folks doing. They in school every day. And you know what I'm saying? So you learn from observation and what they think. But nobody teaches these things. And
children live what they learn. Right. Isn't that poem? Yeah.
It's just about like sex. And then we're gonna have to let go of this. Okay. But it's almost like sex. You know, everybody, laVender, think they're a professional when it comes to having sex. Okay? Nobody.
Men think they're professional.
They think they're professional. Well, who taught them? Nobody. They've never been formally taught. They just listen to what other men say. They look at these XXX movies and all this other kinds of stuff.
And then the women make y'all feel like y'all professional.
Yeah, there you go. And then you think, there you go. There you go. Exactly. So you ain't doing that. You ain't doing nothing. So that's my
great, baby. That was the best.
So, but if they taught sex education in schools, okay, we would be better informed on sex and what to do and what not to do and how to do, certain things like that, And I always, I got a book, and then we really got to go because I got to go pee. But anyhow. But anyway, in my book, I talk about that too. About the foremost expert on sex is Dr. Ruth, right?
Supposedly, yeah.
Supposedly, okay. She write these. She became the authority on it because she write these books on it. But there's a guy by the name of Ron Jeremy, right? And all these that actually participated in some 18,000 sex films. Now, who you think got more experience about sex? Him or Dr. Ruth?
I would say Dr. Ruth.
Right. Well, I doubt Dr. Ruth not experimental wise. Not experimental wise.
Experimental wise.
Right.
Okay.
I think Dr. Ruth just right about what she thinks about sex. He actually performs those things, so he ought to know more about it than she does. But to your point is, but she's still the leading expert on it, regardless of what he does. But all I'm saying is that we need to be educated on anything that we endeavor gets into. Even talking about relationships. Let's talk about these things. Let's bring it back around and let's deal with the communication part of it. laVender.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty.
So we will be, I think we've been on here for a little over an hour.
Right.
Time goes by, but I enjoyed it. And I think the Wind Down Wednesdays will just be a time where people can just pop in and out as they please and comment or listen or not. And we're just going to be talking about relationships. And the Other Woman magazine.
How soon am I going to get my copy?
Well,
they
start going out Monday. They start shipping out
Monday.
Monday.
Don't you think I deserve an advance copy? I think you'll FedEx me a copy.
The subscribers and the contributing writers will be first on the list, definitely. And thank everybody for their patience for it. Every Saturday at the bottom of the screen, the Blues Hound show every Saturday. You can catch him on his YouTube channel, the Blues Hound show, or his Facebook page, Vernon WBQP Vernon Watson. And I will also share it on my page, and www.WRNE980.com. So you can catch the Blues Hound show. It begins at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Other Woman segment begins at 12 noon. And we will be doing these Wind Down Wednesdays via YouTube. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, laVender Shedrick Williams. Okay, Vernon, you don't even drink. You don't know how to handle that. Okay, but thank you guys for joining.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Blues Hound channel.
Subscribe to the Blues Hound channel. Yes. The Blues Hound show. Subscribe to the Blues Hound show. That's at the bottom also. It's spelled BLUEZ, not BLUES. BLUEZ, the Blues Hound channel on YouTube and mine. You can see our names there. But thank you for joining in. And until next Wednesday, we'll see you Saturday, right?
Yep, we'll be on Saturday noonish.
Show.
Yeah, noonish.
Saturday at noonish. And closing remarks so you can go pee.
Don't worry about it. I got this. I can fill it up.
Okay, you guys have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe out there with this corona pandemic going on. And now you can go wind down with your significant other.
I thought you were gonna come in with how beautiful my.
Oh yes,
I told you. Now, like I told you before. Now listen, folks, what she said. Now, I told you. She said, "You got this gray beard. You always look nice in gray beard." And my mama told me, "No woman want no gray ass man. So I'm gonna paint it black. I'm gonna paint it black, laVender.
Gray. No. You all. Now this is how it really happened. Vernon and I used to work together at WRNE station. And he came in one day. He had a beard. It was salt and pepper. The gray was starting to come in. And I said, Vernon, that gray is going to look good. It is going to look so good on you. And he said, no, got to color it. Got to stay black. And you kept it. And it just came in so nice. Gray, salt and pepper and gray is just the most sexy. It looks distinguished.
It ain't no more salt and pepper. It
looks
salt.
Good.
It's all salt now.
It's all salt.
And I don't get them 22-year-old chicks hollering at me no more.
Okay, now we're going to go. Okay, you got. Hey, thank God for the gray. They probably said, thank goodness. But yes, they got a lot of videos now where older men, gray-haired men, are making videos, and it just looks good. So embrace your gray. Embrace your gray.
I ain't got no choice.
You do. You go buy a bottle.
When birthdays make you have no choice. All right, laVender, I gotta go.
Okay, you guys have a good evening. See you later, Vernon. See you Saturday. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.